I feel absolutely good. Too good to say I'm not going to make this video. So I have been trying to make this video since morning and now it's past 4 p.m. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Miss Bimbo. I'm a Nigerian trained pharmacist and a UK care assistant. That is significant to what is going on currently in the UK. It's not even a laughing matter. I'm laughing because one of my friends, in fact my best friend, just got a sponsorship. She just got a certificate of sponsorship in the UK this morning. Isn't the Lord good? The Lord is too good. Before I moved to the Western world, back in Africa, I used to believe, or let me say the media made me believe that, countries like these, the developed countries were, perfect, so to say. So I used to think they were flawless and this place was heaven. And in my own country, Nigeria, for instance, we believe that traveling is part of education. And also, the reason people moved to Western world or to other countries is not necessarily because they want benefits. Some of us, if you ask me personally, I moved here because I want to be a global citizen. I just personally believe that there shouldn't be any restriction. God created us and we had limitation, which was we didn't know how to fly, how to, about logistics, how to move from one country to the other using our legs to trek was hard. So with the developments and the technological advancements, I believe that that gap should be bridged when we now have aircraft, we now have ferries, we now have all sort of things that can take us from one country to the other. Now comes the human limitation, which says you need to get a visa, especially because of our skin color. Now it's like we have been secluded, we have been deprived of the opportunity to, explore the world. And I, as a person, I love to explore the world. And how can I bridge that gap is to get another passport that would enable me, travel lots more. So that's one reason some of us moved here. Unlike what the people believe, that some of us came here mainly because of benefits, we are taking their jobs, we are taking their houses and all that. These accusations are weird and they are ridiculous. So I'm just making this video to let you know, if you still intend to move to this kind of countries, just know that you have to brace up. There are so many limitations aside the migration limitations. When you come here, you are not able, your credentials are not recognized, your qualifications are not recognized, you have to begin again. I call it subtle discrimination. Some are not loud, but now it's becoming really pronounced, and I learned this has happened in the past and it's like history is repeating itself. It's quite unfortunate, but what I want people to know is that we didn't choose to be of brown color. We didn't choose what countries we were born into. Nobody chose even to be born as a white person or a black person. Time and chance just happens to everybody. So we should just respect the fact that we are all humans and we all bleed red. And as much as you would condemn a black person doing evil, you should also condemn a white person doing evil. Anyone can be evil regardless of their ethnicity or their group or their environment or their region. Anybody can be bad. As much as we have bad people amongst people of other colors, other races, we also have bad people here in England. People complain, oh, they are coming to rape our children. Excuse me? These allegations are so cruel. It's so bad. It's like people don't have any excuse. The hatred is just as eating so deep into some of them that they don't even mind lying. How many people have actually raped their children? As much as we have white people that rape people, that are pedophiles, we have them everywhere. It has nothing to do with the color. We have bad people across the globe and we have good people, and we cannot say because we've got bad people then we're going to stop associating with people generally. That's not right. I think about 6 days ago there was the news that an immigrant child, a 17-year-old boy who happens to be from Wales but originally from Rwanda, like the parents came to the UK via the boats. They were illegal immigrants, but then they gave birth to this child, and the child got a second citizenship to be, a Wales citizen, a UK citizen. And 17-year-old, he went into one of the dancing holiday schools or something and stabbed some of the children, where 3 of them got killed. Like 3 of those children died as a result of the stabbing, which is quite, condemnable. The act is highly condemnable. I do not support anything of that nature. It is quite sad that some parents had to lose their children because of this. However, I'd like to also mention that something similar or things like this have been going on in the UK. You know, the UK is not known for gun attacks, but for knife stabbings. So sometimes in April, there was this boy, Anjorin Daniel, a Nigerian boy, that also got stabbed in South London. And so many Brits did not talk about it. I wouldn't say they didn't talk. People didn't talk about it. Of course, people did talk about it, but it wasn't as loud as this current one. This is not to say that I want to, commend the act of this young 17-year-old boy. I do not commend either of the party. Whoever did that to Anjorin Daniel is as guilty as this other young boy. So 17-year-old boy, according to the law, was not up to 18 years, wasn't an adult, and as a result, the government kept, some of the vital information regarding this boy's identity, which made some of these people furious that they should just disclose his identity, which they eventually did. But before then, people were speculating, oh, he's a Muslim, oh, a terrorist, and as such, some people rose up to say we do not want Muslims in England, in the UK generally. Let all the Muslims go back to their countries because they do not stand for peace, they are violent people. Not forgetting what happened in Leeds also recently, I think in the month of July. That was when one Romanian family happened to leave their kids in the house and a 7-month-old baby with the elder ones, where the 7-month-old baby the next day, the parents realized that the baby had like a swelling on the head, took the baby to the hospital, and on getting to the hospital, they found out that the baby had a serious head injury. And from the hospital, they called the social workers, and they took it up from there. And as a result, they tried their investigations, and they found out that the parents left the 7-month-old baby with the elder siblings, and the baby fell down. The elder siblings did not inform their parents about it. And as a result, the government was going, or the social workers were going to take the other kids from their parents for safety reasons. That's how they do it. If you're negligent, or if you neglect your kids for one reason or the other, the government have, autonomy. They have power to take your kids away from you, maybe temporarily or permanently. So the Romanian, community rose up and they fought the police. And so many Brits condemned that act, which I also support them in condemning such acts, because they've done that to you doesn't, justify you, rioting and, destroying government properties. You can go about things in an orderly manner. However, what is going on recently, because it's like people have deviated from the main topic, from the main gist, which is this 17-year-old boy, which eventually has clocked 18 years. The government has put out all information regarding this boy, his pictures, his family background, and all of that. And now some sects of this the protesters are saying we don't want Muslims, others are saying we don't want all immigrants, and some others are saying the government is weak, and of the pensioners' benefits, which is the eating allowance or something, winter eating allowance, have been removed. People are just angry for good reasons. However, it shouldn't, bring such hatred towards people of other colors, because personally, my view is that people were born not because they wanted to be born. Whether you are dark-skinned or, white-skinned or pink-skinned, to even come think about it, whoever started this black and white thing is a great betrayer, a great traitor, a great threat to humanity, because nobody is actually as black. This is black. This is black. This is my complexion. This is my complexion. This is black. And white. This is white. Excuse me. This is white. This is white. This is what we call white. This is what we call black. This is black. This is white. So whoever brought this white and black thing did not do good. So many people have now used that opportunity to start organizing protests across different towns, different cities, and different villages, and to start destroying government properties, looting African and immigrant stores, and beating up immigrants, destroying their personal belongings. And I'm so grateful because in my own community there's still peace. Everywhere is calm. Nothing of such has erupted yet, and we are praying and hoping that nothing of such is going to start. However, people is like we're still walking on eggshells. We are scared because you don't know what's going to happen the next minute. We've seen so many like timetables flying about of different cities and the dates that the protesters are going to gather to start operating. Meanwhile, the government is also swift in their actions, putting things in order. Police are everywhere. I've watched so many videos on social media, from TikTok to Facebook to YouTube, regarding this unrest, and one particular video stood out for me, and I'm going to play that video today. If this is your first time coming across my channel, please do like this video, share it out, and consider subscribing. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next video.
I've lived in 5 different countries in Africa. I've lived in Malawi, Botswana, Zambia, Morocco, and Nigeria. Never once in all my years of living or traveling on the African continent have I been mistreated in any way because of my ethnicity, because of my skin color. And this is in spite of the fact that I come from a country who are guilty for some of the worst colonial crimes ever inflicted throughout human history. That's right, I was born in Great Britain. And without doubt, the British and the French committed the greatest atrocities across the continent of Africa. The Belgians have a good claim for the greatest atrocity in their treatment of the Congolese, but if one looks at it as an entity and the number of countries that were invaded by the British and French colonialists, one will see that they are the worst protagonists. Despite this, and despite the behavior of my ancestors, I have never been mistreated. In fact, I have been welcomed warmly in all of the countries I have lived in or visited. And when in Africa, I don't cocoon myself in some enclave dome which is inhabited by people who like to refer to themselves as expats. I hate that term. But no, I integrate as much as possible within local society. I will go to a shebeen, I will go to any compound and experience life as it is for people in the country where I am based. So whether that's in the village, whether it's in the township, whether it's in the local bar, I will integrate, I will mix, and I am always made welcome. Now contrast that with the way many Africans are treated when they choose to live in the United Kingdom or France or other parts of Europe. The difference is incredible. The everyday racism experienced by African people on the European continent is a crime against humanity. Now, there are different types of racism. The most obvious is the day-to-day experience that an African will have whilst living in parts of Europe. The name calling, the staring, the subtle discrimination. And for many Africans, they will just brush it off because it is so common that they just get used to it, sadly. Worse though, is the institutional and structural racism that Africans have to abide with. The restrictions on their movements, the fact that most passports emulating from the African continent will only allow Africans to travel visa-free to a handful of countries, and most of those will be other African countries or countries in the Caribbean. And moreover, the difficulty that Africans have finding work in Europe is unimaginable. People who are qualified as doctors, accountants, lawyers, university lecturers, nurses, teachers do not have their qualifications and experiences recognised by most European countries. I know many people from Africa working in various parts of Europe as security guards or as care assistants when back home they had highly skilled professional jobs. But that experience is rarely recognised when they come to Europe unless they come as part of a transfer with an existing company. But if they come because they've migrated to Europe, their chances of accessing the sort of job which they are eminently capable of is slim. Now, if a black person was making this video, they would be quickly dismissed. They'd be dismissed as having an axe to grind or always trying to find problems. And again, that's part of racism. The fact that I can speak because of my white privilege means that I have a duty to do so. Not because I'm married to an African woman or because I have many African friends, but because I like to think I'm a decent human being who appreciates the value in every person on our planet.